Welcome to Stuttgart Reds Ballpark today with softball Bundesliga. Stuttgart Reds facing the Freising Grizzlies. It's beautiful summer weather, about 27 degrees, 82 Fahrenheit, and I can't think of anything better to do to sit out here and commentate and watch 18 beautiful young ladies in competition. On my side is the master of disaster, Yara Drobny, the world's worst superhero. My name is Ken Hudson, the voice of Reds TV, and we also have a special guest with us today, Iris Drobny, the world's best photographer. And if you don't believe it, look at this picture. First place 10 and 1, Freising third place 6 and 6. Lineup batting Mara Sander, followed by Sophia Turner, Leoba Biswas, Fiona Brush, Teresa Vanna, Nadja Hunstetter is the designated player, Franka Brush, Regina Guth, and Tamara Biswas is the starting lineup for the Grizzlies. And pitch number one in there for strike number one. Lineup for the Stuttgart Reds. The Energizer Bunny, Annie Stepniak pitching. Catching is Alia Petzold. Foul ball. Strike number two. At first base, Kirsten Schmidt. Second base, Jessica Weil. At third base, Makea Kalau. Shortstop, Hope Cornell, left, center, and right, Kira Manske, Julia Bruiniger, and Corina Appel. And that ball grounded to second base. Nice, easy throw to first. Out number one. Of course, for those of you who are first tuning in to Reds TV, we do have a chat function. Let me know where you're watching from. I'll give you a shout out. If you have questions, comments, words to wisdom, and please remember to subscribe to Reds TV. Yara wants that pitch up high. Yara wants 1,000 subscribers by the end of the season so he can get a real superpower. His known superpowers are the blank stare. That ball bunted, but bunted foul. 1-1 to count. He's got the blank stare. Scares his reflection out of his own mirror. Crashes computers in a single touch. Gets Reds TV banned from a complete country in a single stream. That pitch just a little bit high, ball two. 2 balls, 1 strike. And also those who tuning in for the first time, softball a little bit different to baseball. There's strike number 2, and as you can see, the pitcher throws the ball underhand instead of overhand. There's no mound, there's only flat. Bases are shorter, ball is bigger, but definitely not soft. And oh, yeah! Out by window shopping, strikeout for out number 2. One thing that I really like about softball, besides, of course, a lot of beautiful women, is the game goes much quicker. 2 7-inning games today. Game 2 will start about 30 minutes after game 1 finishes. Swing and a miss for strike number 1. That looked like a changeup too low, 1-1 to count. Of course, also in softball, they do have different pitches, curveballs, fastballs, changeups. Swing and a miss, strike number 2, 1 ball, 2 strikes. That ball fouled out of play. Count remains 1 ball, 2 strikes. And that ball a little high, hit in the air, called more, and there's always hope. caught by Hope Cornell for out number three. No runs, no hits, no errors. Three up, three down for the Stuttgart in the top of the first inning. We'll be right back with inning number one, bottom half. Defense lineup for the Freising Grizzlies. Pitching Fiona Brosh. Catching, I assume, Sister Franca Bosch at first base. Tamara Biswas at second base. Sophia Thurmer at third base. Teresa Vana. Shortstop Leoba Biswas. Left, center, and right is Regina Guth. Mara Sander and Eleanor Weyer leading off for the Stuttgart Reds. Annie, the Energizer Bunny, Stepniak, followed by Jessica Weil, Hope Cornell, Makaya Kalau, Kristen Schmidt, Alia Petzold, Corina Apple, Kira Manske, Julie Breuniger. And the first pitch is fouled straight back. And no, if it comes off the fence and is caught by the catcher, it's not an out. So strike number one. That pitch high and in for ball one, 1-1 to count. That's in there, strike number two. And save me, swing foul into the first base net. Count remains 1 ball, 2 strikes. And that ball popped up. Called for, caught by the pitcher, out number one. That brings up national team player and daughter of the coach, Marcus Weil. Jessica Weil steps in the batter's box. That pitch outside for a ball. Umpires for today's game behind the plate, Thomas Holla, if you hear me, holler. And in the field, Lars Stuhling. That ball hit right to the second base lady. Throw an easy second out for Freising in the score sheet, 4-3. Again, if you're watching, we do have a chat function. Log in. Let me know where you're calling from if you have any questions or comments, words of wisdom. And you're welcome, Rising Curve. You're welcome for the stream. Where are you watching from? Let me know. Two outs. Batting Hope Cornell. She takes that pitch high for ball number one. That pitch on the lower inside corner. Strike number one. 1-1 to count. Today's attendance looks like to be about 2,927. For those who don't know me, I'm joking, of course. That pitch all the way back. Little high, ball number two. Oh, rising curve out of Sheffield, UK. Thanks for letting me know. So, Reds TV International still going. Two balls, one strike. That pitch misses low and inside, 3-1. Of course, everybody knows Hope Cornell. You can't throw anything down the middle. And if you do, it's probably going to end up being a Hope bomb. And that's high inside for ball number four. Hope Cornell at first base with the walk. Brings up Makaya Kalau. Unfortunately, would love to give you some statistics on these players, but the statistics in the Bundesliga for softball pretty much don't exist. The last statistics are from 2022. That pitch misses outside, ball one. And if you could watch that pitch, a little tail on it to the outside. There are curveballs and sinkers and change-ups and rising fastballs in softball. That ball hit hard to the third base, stopped by the third base lady. And in time, throw down to third. Unnecessary because the out at first was out number three. So good defense by the third base lady. No runs on no hits, no errors, one left on. We're done with one. And the score is 0-0. Top of the second inning, leading off for the Freising Grizzlies, Fiona Brush, Teresa Vana, and Nadia Honstetter. Stuttgart leading the Bundesliga South with a 10-1 record. Freising is in third with 6-6. That pitch in there for strike number one. But everybody says Freising's better than their 6-6 record. Second place is the Mannheim Tornadoes at 9-3. And that ball grounded foul down the third baseline. Almost got the world's best photographer, but she did a matrix move to get out of the way. Freising, of course, is tied for third place with the Legionnaire Guggenberger. Tübingen Hawks in sixth place. Karlsruhe Cougars in sixth place. Of course, Tübingen in fifth. Swing and a miss. Oh, yeah! Strikeout for out number one. brings up Teresa Vana. One down. That pitch just a little bit inside, ball one. And a bunt attempt and smart play by third base lady Makea Kalau, letting that ball roll. It hit a rock just before it stopped and rolled foul. 1-1 to count. Of course, bunting also a very, very big weapon in softball. That pitch catches the outside corner for strike number two. One ball, two strikes. That pitch just a little high. Tried to get her to chase a fastball. No chasing. 2-2. And that pitch just inside, missed by Mukasekele. Mukasekele, of course, the smallest measurement in Schwabenland, where we're at. Smaller than the hair off a gnat's leg. Full count. Swing and a miss on the changeup. Oh, yeah. Strikeout for out number two. And that brings up Nadja Hunstetter. Different than in baseball, Nadja Hunstetter, the designated player. In baseball, designated hitter only for the pitcher. In softball, you can have a designated player for anybody on the field. That pitch just outside, ball one. And Nadja Hunstetter, designated player for the right fielder, Eleanor Weyer. 1-0 the count. That pitch catches the lower part of the strike zone. Hot cheese at the knees, strike number one. And strike number two, foul ball. One ball, two strikes. And a fly ball, right field, twist and foul. Count remains one ball, two strikes. And oh, yeah, strikeout for out number three. Annie Stepniak strikes out the side. 3 up, 3 down, no runs, no hits, no errors. We'll be right back with the bottom of the second inning. So as you can see, a lot of teams in the softball have routines. They all meet at the pitcher's mound and clap hands, signaling the next innings are out, or half an inning is about ready to start. Leading off for the Stuttgart Reds, Kristen Smith, Aaliyah Petzold, Corina Appel. Score 0-0 after 1.5 innings. That pitch misses up and in for ball number one. And that ball hit high and deep. And nice over the shoulder catch by the center fielder for out number one. We'll call that warning track power. And next batter, Aaliyah Petzold catching for the Stuttgart Reds. That pitch low and in for ball number one. Up high, 1-1, or excuse me, 2-0 the count. If you're watching this and get the urge to come out to a game, next home game for the Stuttgart Reds will be on the 21st of June. It's a makeup game against the the Tübingen Hawks. First game was played. Second game was a rain out. That was a swing and a miss, 2-1. On the 21st of June is a makeup game. Next home game after that for the Stuttgart Reds will be the 15th of July against the Mannheim Tornadoes. Ball low, 3-1 in that 23rd of July game. Oh, where did I lost it? The 15th of July game. That is number one against number two. And a ground ball slowly hit. Third base lady picks it up and throws it in time for out number two. Oh, out at first brings up Corina Appel to bat. And on deck batters on a left-handed hitter have to be behind him. So next batter, Kira Manske, goes over to the first base side. It's because the fields are much smaller, more chance of getting hit by a foul ball. That pitch up up high, but Corina couldn't lay off. Swing and a miss, strike number one. That pitch low and away, 1-1 the count. And that ball gets past the catcher, outside ball number two. 2 balls, 1 strike. So the remaining schedule for the Stuttgart Reds again on the 21st at 6 o'clock at home versus the Tübingen Hawks. And a foul ball, Yara's favorite thing. It's not a full count, it's triple deuces. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. And the Stuttgart Reds play in Tübingen on the 9th of July, at home against Mannheim on the 15th of July, in Regensburg against the Legionnaire on the 22nd of July. That pitch popped up right to the pitcher. 3 up, 3 down. No runs, no hits, no errors. And then the games in Regensburg are the last games for the regular season. And then, of course, playoffs come. So no runs, no hits, no errors for the Stuttgart Reds in the bottom of the second inning. We'll be right back with the top of inning number 3. Leading off the top of the 3rd inning will be Franka Bosch, Regina Guth, Tamara Biswas. 0-0 still the score. That pitch miss. No, it doesn't miss on the inside corner of the strike zone. Strike number 1. Swing and a miss on the low fastball. Quickly 0-2 the count. And that one just a little bit inside. 1-2. And a foul ball. Franca Brush stays alive. And that change up just a little bit outside. 2-2 the count. And a high fly ball. Called for, caught by Hope Cornell, out number 1 in the top of the 3rd inning. Brings up Regina Guth. Freising and Stuttgart, of course, still looking for their first hit of the game. An attempted bunt. Pitch was low. If the batter had pulled the bat back, which, of course, the coach is letting her know, it would have been ball 1, but she left the bat in the batter's box. Strike 1. And that ball up the middle. There's the first base hit. Right past the pitcher, who is, of course, closest to that. Oh, first run of the game for the Freising Grizzlies. We have 1 out, and number 9 hitter Tamara Biswas. And, of course, if you're used to seeing coaches give signs, it looks like each one of the players for Freising has a little wristband. That pitch just up high, and the coach, instead of giving signs, gives numbers like 5-4-2. So 5-4-2 tells the players what play is on. And that's a bunt. Right back to the pitcher. Throw to second base in time to get the lead runner. Normally we'd score that a sacrifice hit, but since the runner did not advance, it is a fielder's choice, and 1-6 in the score sheet for out number 2. Runner first, leadoff hitter Mara Sender. There's strike number 1 on the outside corner. And another attempted, we'll call it slash bunt. Fouled back. Strike number two. No balls, two strikes. And that ball foul down the first base line. Lucky for Stuttgart if that was fair. That was extra bases. Nothing but a long strike. Again, if you want to shout out questions, comments, words of wisdom, or just let me know where you're watching from, there is the chat function open. Sign up to Red's TV for Yara. He wants 1,000 subscribers. And that ball high and outside gets past the catcher. Runner Tamara Biswas able to advance to second base. Oh, a base hit now could score the first run of the ball game. We do have two outs, so 1-2 count. And that ball hit high in the air. No problem for the right fielder. Fly out to right field. Ends the inning. No runs on. One hit. No errors. One left on. We'll be right back with the bottom of the third inning. Bottom of the third inning, leading off is Kiara Munske, Julie Bräuniger, and then lead off Annie Stepniak. That pitch high, ball number one. Shout out to you, Mr. J. Finch. Not too far away in Roerderlevang. I know where that place is. One ball, no strikes. And that pitch low and inside. We'll call it a worm burner, ball number two. There's a blooper over the head of the second base lady. So in the top of the third, Freising gets their first hit. In the bottom of the third, Stuttgart gets their first hit. Kira Manske is safe on first. Julie Bräuniger up to bat. And of course, you see Marcus Weil giving these standard kind of signs, letting his batter and runner know what they want to do. No outs. And that pitch on the outside corner, strike number one. Inside, 1-1 to count. That pitch low for ball number two. That pitch on the inside corner, throw back down to first, not in time. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Yeah, ball hit up in the air in foul territory, over the fence. And Julie Bruniger stays alive. And one of the things that is the same on softball and baseball, of course, if you bunt foul with 2 strikes, you're automatically out. So you won't see much bunting with 2 strikes. 2-2 the count. And that pitch just a little bit high. Count is full. And a ground ball, second base, flip to second. Not in time at first. Oh, 4-6 for out number one. An attempt 6-3. Julie Bruniger just a little bit too fast. And up to bat, Annie Stepniak. 1 out. That pitch just a little bit high, ball one. Marcus Wild, coach at third base, giving the signs. As we do have pretty good speed at first base, pretty good speed in the batter's box. And a slash bunt that gets past everybody and goes all the way into right field. And the throw down to second base, and on the throw, anywho, tripped over first base, makes it to second, so a base hit. And since the second baseman was trying to cover first, nobody held that position. The ball rolls into the outfield on the throw down third. Annie able to make it to second. Brings up Jessica Weil. Oh, Stuttgart threatening to score the first runs of the ball game. Runners at second and third with only 1 out. That ball misses low. Jessica Weil, one of the 2 to 3 national team players that the Stuttgart has on their team. That pitch on the inside corner, strike number one. Another interesting thing in softball, if you pay attention to the shortstop will look and see what pitch the catcher is calling, and then put her arm behind her back to signal to the outfielders, at least left and center. That pitch too high. A lot of little nuances in softball that you don't see in baseball. 2 balls, 1 strike. Three and one. Of course, walking Jessica Weil, not the biggest thing you want to do with Hope Cornell standing in the on-deck circle. And a ground ball. Second base, throws home, but not in time. It was not a force out. Had to tag, so Stuttgart scores their first run. And now you have runners on first and third. First run of the ball game on the RBI fielder's choice for Jessica Weil. Hope Cornell up to bat. Only 1 out runners at the corners. Normally a steal situation. And there she goes. Stolen base for Jessica Vile. One down. First base is open. Force play at second is now off. And that ball right back up the middle. Catcher not able to come up with it. And slowed it down enough. Out call at at first base. Umpire Chris Munskin not agreeing with it. In any case, whether she's safe or out, the second run for the Stuttgart Reds. Jessica Vile advances to third base on the play. And Christoph Munskin not going to let it go. They don't have instant replay or challenges in softball or in Bundesliga baseball. So the call stands. It was a very close play. Stuttgart still does get the run out number 2. And Makaya Kalau up to bat. That pitch just a little bit high. Ball number 1. On the inside corner, a 1-1 to count. And that ball ground to the shortstop. Throw in time for out number 3. Stuttgart able to get 2 runs across the board on 2 hits, no errors, 1 left on. We'll be right back. Stuttgart leading 2-0. Inning number 4, Sophia Thermer, Lioba Biswas, Fiona Brosh batting for the Freising Grizzlies. Stuttgart able to push 2 runs across the board in the bottom of the second inning, 2-0 the score. And that ball bunted up. And a nice sliding catch by the Energizer Bunny, Ani Stepniak, out number 1. If anybody wonders why I'm calling her the Energizer Bunny, let's look at the old commercials about the Energizer battery and the bunny. They just keeps going and going and going. Out number 1 in the 4th inning. Lioba Biswas, the next batter. And that ball grounded up the middle, but not up the middle enough. Annie Stepniak snags that out of the air. and throws it to first for out number two. Fiona Brush, strikeout victim, her first at bat. And she takes that ball and fouls it into the right field. And a nice catch. Three outstanding defensive plays by the Stuttgart Reds. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on. Fortunately, did our camera catch that catch? Yeah, so can't get every corner of the field. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on. We'll be right back with the bottom of the fourth. Leading off the bottom of the fourth inning, Kirsten Smith, Talia Petzold, Corina Appa. 2-0 the score in favor of the Stuttgart Reds. Of course, top of the fourth, three outstanding defensive plays. Two by pitcher Annie Stepniak and one by the right fielder Corina Appa. That pitch high and outside for ball number one. That pitch in there looked like a changeup for strike number one. 1-1 to count. Inside, ball two. Of course, strike zone in softball and baseball is the same. Basically, from the numbers to the knees, over the plate. That pitch just inside. Catcher wanted that pitch, held the ball a little bit longer. Didn't get the call. 3-1 to count. And a walk. Leadoff runner on. And a shout out to Monja Kessler lets us know that the Energizer Bunny here in Germany is the Duracell Hessle. So Duracell Rabbit. I like Energizer Bunny better. Runner first. Alia Petzold at bat. And shows bunt. That pitch on the low part of the strike zone for strike number one. Swing and a miss on the breaking pitch. Strike number two. Salia grounded to the third base lady on her first at bat. And a strikeout, swing and a miss out number one in the fourth inning. It brings up Corina Appa. Line back to the pitcher, her first at bat. And she swings and misses at the first offering. Another big difference between the baseball and softball, where baseball, after about 110 pitches, the starting pitcher is normally out of the game. In softball, because of the different motion, they can pitch many more pitches. That pitch low, 1-1 to count. I've experienced a doubleheader where the pitcher pitches both games of the doubleheader. One ball, one strike, one out, one on. And that ball hit, and nice catch by the first base lady. So we're having some outstanding defensive plays. Pitcher grabs that off to the side, able to throw down to first to complete the double play. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on. 4 innings in the books, and the score remains Stuttgart 2, Freising 0. Top of the 5th inning, leading off for the Freising Grizzlies will be Teresa Vana, Nadja Hunstetter, Franca Bush. And ball foul off the pole, around the horn, and nice catch by the on deck batter, but it's not an out. Of course, both teams not able to get a hold of the pitcher that well. That ball in the dirt, 1-1 to count. Stuttgart only two hits, but was able to score 2 runs on the 2 hits. Freising only 1 hit so far in the game. That pitch just a little bit high and inside, ball 2. 2 balls, 1 strike. And of course, softball plays 7 innings, so we're going to call after this inning, it's going to be the 5th inning stretch. And that ball grounded right through the legs of the third basewoman. And she punches the ground saying she should have had that. Oh, leadoff batter safe at first. We'll wait for the scorekeeper's official score, which I probably won't get. So we're going to call that an E5. I'm sure Makaya would say that was an E5. So we're going to write it as an E5. Runner at first, no outs. Nadja Honstetter up to bat, and she shows bunt. Bunts it back to the pitcher. Throws down to second base in time. Hope Cornell covering. So in the score sheet, 1-6. Out number 1. And no credit for a sacrifice hit for Honstetter. We have 1 down, and Franca Brush up to bat. Frank flew out to Hope Cornell in the last at bat. That pitch misses away, ball 1. And that one catches the outside corner. Strike one, 1-1 to count. And that ball bunted foul. Count goes to 1 ball, 2 strikes. Nadja Hunster still standing at first base. And a ground ball slowly hit to second. Throw to first. In time. Ball hit too slow to try a double play. Get the quick out at first. Nadja Hunster advances to second on the ground ball. 2 outs and Regina Guth up to bat. And that ball bunted in the air, called for, caught by the first base lady. 4 out, number 3, no runs on, no hits, 1 error, 1 left on. We'll be right back with the bottom of the 5th inning. It's time for the 5th inning stretch. Get yourself a cold one, get something to eat, something to drink. We'll be right back. Bottom of inning number 5. Leadoff for the Stuttgart Reds will be Kira Manske, Julie Bräuniger, Anya Stepniak. Score still 2-0 for Stuttgart. And that ball hit right off the shin of the third base lady. Throw down, not good, but the right fielder doing her job and backing it up. And we'll call that also an E5. Error on the third base lady. Kira Munskis safe at first. Julie Bräuniger, the batter. And time called by somebody. And in softball, you also have what is the reentry rule, which basically means coach can put somebody to run, somebody who's maybe faster. So number 37 comes in to run. That is Terry Pfister comes in to run at first base. And Julie Bräuniger is up to bat. That pitch up high, ball one. Again, you have a designated player, so you have what's considered a designated hitter for any player on the field. In baseball, it's only the pitcher. And you also have reentry rules, which means that pitch outside, ball two. After the end of the inning, if the coach wants to, he can put Kiramanska back into the defense. 2 balls, no strikes, no outs. And that ball hit in the air right to the center fielder. Nice catch for out number one. That brings up the Duracell Hessle, the Energizer Bunny, Anya Stepniak. Annie 1 for 2 with a single and a run scored. And she swings at that pitch and drops it into center field for a single. Of course, Terry Pfister had to wait to see if that ball was going to drop. Not able to go first to third. Runners at first and second. 1 out. Jessica Vile up to bat. And shows a bunt. Runners going. Advancing on the wild pitch. Now runners in scoring position. Second and third base. Ball 1 to Jessica Vile. See what Coach Marcus Vile has up his sleeve. Strike number 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. And that ball bunted, but bunted foul. Count goes 1 ball, 2 strikes. There is 1 out and runners at second and third. And that ball hit in the air. Nice running catch by the center fielder. Boy, I tell you what, we're have some dandy defensive plays put on by both teams. At second out and up to bat. Hope Cornell looking for her first hit of the day. Walked in the first inning. Grounded out to the second base lady in the third inning. She has 2, what we say in English, ducks on the pond. And that off-speed pitch looked like a changeup just a bit high for ball number 1. Inside ball 2. Of course, hope not the person you want to throw something right down the middle. Two balls, no strikes. That ball on the inside corner, strike number 1. And that one grounded Attempted fielding by the third base coach Marcus Weil. In his younger days, I'm sure he would have had that with no problem. But he's an old man now, so that's why he's only coaching. We have triple deuces, 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. And that's why you don't park in left field. That is what we call a hope bomb. A 3-run shot. Touch 'em all time for Hope Cornell. 3 more runs across the board. Raises score to 5-0 for the Stuttgart Reds. Brings up Mikea Kalau, a little bit of a powwow at the pitcher's mound. Again, that's why here in Stuttgart, if you're at the game, do not park in left field. That's the hope zone. Next batter, Mikea Kalau. 2 ground outs so far for her today. And that changeup in there for strike number 1. Inside, 1-1 to count. That ball popped up. And first baseman able to pull it down. Stuttgart on the hope run. Scores 3 on 2 hits, 1 error. Nobody left on. After 5, Stuttgart 5. Freising 0. We'll be right back. Nine, 1, and 2 for the Freising Grizzlies in the top of the 6th inning. Hope Cornell with her hope run in the bottom of the 5th inning raises the score. Stuttgart 5 to Freising 0. And that pitch in there, hot cheese at the knees for strike number 1. That one just a little low, missed by Mukasekala. 1-1 to count. And that catches the top part of the strike zone for strike number 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Inside, 2-2. foul ball out of play. Heads up. Count stays 2 balls, 2 strikes. And another foul ball out of play. We call that she's doing her best Bee Gees impression. She's ah, staying alive. 2-2 to count. That pitch outside for ball number 3. And a ground ball. This time Mikhail comes up with it, but then makes a bad throw over the first base lady's head. Oh, leadoff run. Runner on for the Freising Grizzlies. And leadoff batter Mara Sandner up to bat. Ground out and a fly out for her so far. Force Freising trying to answer the 3 runs in the bottom of the 5th inning. And that pitch just a little bit high. A check on the check swing. First base umpire or field umpire Lars Dueleng says no, she didn't go. And that bunt, throw down to first in time. No chance to get the runner at second. So a sacrifice hit for Mara Sander puts Tamara Biswas in scoring position. That brings up Sophia Thurmer. And that pitch on the outside corner, strike number 1. And a quick powwow between the infield, letting, of course, infield captain Hope Cornell letting the infield know what she expects of him if Sophia Thurmer bunts, if Sophia Thurmer hits a ground ball, etc. And home plate umpire goes out there to stop the powwow. We have no balls, 1 strike, 1 out. Runner at second base. Sophia Thurmer, the batter. And of course, that's an attempted bunt. And everybody going to cover first, or excuse me, third, and the second baseman running in to field the bunt. Nobody covering second, nobody way to throw the ball down to second on the wild pitch. And again, a check. Field umpire says no, she was able to pull back. 1-1 to count. That pitch in there for strike number 2. And because of the smaller field, you see the center fielder's actually moving in to cover second. He can do that here in softball. The only problem is if the throw gets past her, there's nobody in center field. Oh, yeah! Strikeout for out number 2. That brings up Leoba Biswas. Fly out to the shortstop, ground out to the pitcher. There are 2 outs. And ball hit out of play. Foul. Still only one hit today for the Freising Grizzlies. And another foul ball in over the first base fence. No balls, two strikes. And foul ball number three, strike number two. And a high fly ball in center field. Warning track power, but a nice catch by the center fielder, Julie Bräuniger. That's probably why she's on the national team. No runs, no hits, one error, one left on. We'll be right back with the bottom of the sixth inning. Ball number one to Kristen Schmidt. She'll be followed by Leah Petzold, Corina Apple. 5-0 the score. That pitch just a little bit high. Ball number two. There's strike number one, low inside corner of the strike zone. Two balls, one strike. And that changeup grounded to the second base lady who throws it to first for out number one. And brings up Aaliyah Petzold. Aaliyah ground out and a strikeout. And a pitch on the inside corner, strike number one. And that ball hit And deep, did she? No, it was Warning Track Power, but the left fielder not able to come up with it. A double for Aaliyah Petzold and brings up Corina Appel up to bat. And see what Coach Marcus Weil has in store. Of course, both coaches for Stuttgart have daughters that play on the team. For Marcus, his daughter Jenny is actually playing in the north. She's in school. His daughter Jessica, plays second base, and the on deck batter Kira Manske, daughter of the first base coach Christoph Manske. And it looks like Leah may have hurt something. She's limping around. Let's see, get somebody come in for her. Of course, it is nice and warm. So coming in for Aliyah Petzold, as soon as I know, I'll let you know. Looks like number 16, Isabel Schmidt, comes in to run. Let's see if she stays in the game or. Oh, one out, runner at second base. Corina Appa needs to hit somewhere besides back to the pitcher. She's flew out to the pitcher twice. And swing and a miss. It's another thing, if you watched her run forward, the batter's box is for softball a little bit bigger. Tries to get a running start at the hit. And that ball hit in the air in left field. Caught by the left fielder. Well, at least she did hit it to somebody else. F7 this time for out number two. Isabel Schmidt not able to advance. And Kira Manska up to bat. Single and safe on an error. Two outs. That pitch on the inside corner, strike number one. And that ball hit in the air in center field. And over the center fielder's head for at least a double for Kira and an RBI. Stuttgart gets run number 6. And brings up Yuli Breuninger. Yuli safe on a fielder's choice. And a fly out in center field. And the mercy rules are also a little bit different, if I remember correctly. One more run for Stuttgart and the game is over. It's not like in baseball, it's 10 runs. In softball, it's 7. We do have 2 outs and a runner at second base. So, Julie Brunner, the batter. A game winning run at second base. And a pitch in there for strike number 1. Strike number two on the inside corner. Two pitches, two strikes. And this time, ground ball right back to the pitcher, who underhands it to first base for out number three. One more run for the Stuttgart Reds on two hits. No errors, one left on. We'll be right back with the top of the seventh inning. Oh, we're in the top of the seventh and final inning unless Freising can figure out any Stepniak. Score 6-0. New hitter, or excuse me, Fiona Brush, Teresa Vana, Nadja Hunstetter, the three batters trying to score. That pitch misses low inside, ball one. And time called. That pitch just a little inside, ball number two. Two balls, no strikes. And a fly ball straightaway center field. No problem for the center fielder, the Stuttgart Reds, Julie Bruniger, out number one. That brings up Teresa Vana, rising down to two outs. Swing and a miss. Teresa Vana, strikeout, safe on an error. And that pitch catches her on the foot, so there's a base runner for the Freising Grizzlies. Cut her on the foot, it looked like. Runner first and brings up Nadja Honstetter. One out. And the coach from Freising decided to put a pinch runner in. Of course, needing to get speed on the bases and somebody who got hit on the foot or on the ankle. That is definitely something that we don't call softball. That ball is hard and it hurts just like a baseball. One out, runner at first. Nadja Honstetter, the batter. And a ball grounded but foul. Gets past the first base lady. Strike number one. And that stolen base throw offline. Teresa Van I, or the pinch runner, gets herself in scoring position. One out. And that ball hit in the air in foul territory. And Jenny Weil able to get the ball, tag up, and runner gets to third base on the pop up. Two down, and the catcher, Franca Brosh, up to bat. She's flew out to the shortstop, grounded out to the pitcher. Rising down to their last out. And that's strike number one. And that ball hit in the air in right field. No problem for the right fielder, Karina Appa. No runs on one hit, two errors for the Freising Grizzlies. 6 runs on 6 hits. One of them a hope run. And one error for the Stuttgart Reds. Excuse me, 2 errors for the Stuttgart Reds. Final score, Stuttgart 6, Freising 0. We'll be back in about a half an hour for game number 2.